So, happy Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody. One thing I did say, and it was to Rosaline, is that I don't accept an otter who doesn't belong to a person, right? So, if there's an otter here that's not linked to a human, then Veronica, you're welcome to very gently remove the otter out of the program. Yes?
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Gently remove an otter. Hi, everyone.
Like that. Hi, everybody. Good to see some of your faces. I didn't see you last week. So it's good to see your faces this week, and glad that you're back on a joining program. Today, you are very, very blessed to have Donna and myself available to be on this program, which is exciting. So the program we're going to be following today is we are going to firstly take a look at your numbers, right? What have you done? So last week we talked about leads and how many people you're contacting and how many appointments you're having and how to have a Genius Igniter kind of conversation. We talked about all of that. So I'd like to know from each one of you, how many people did you reach out to last week, right? So Veronica, we can maybe drop it in the chat so everybody remembers. But how many people did you reach out to? How many appointments did you make? How many clients have you converted, if any? What's happening on your data of things, right? Because I think that's an important indication to see whether something worked or didn't from last week. Let me, guys, do mute yourselves with a background of stuff. If you're not speaking, that would be wonderful. Thank you. And then we can see what you actually achieved between the conversations we had last week to this week. Then I would love to know what's working and what's not working. So each one of you will get a chance to share. It won't be longer than, I think, probably 5 to 6 minutes, maybe less, depending on how much you've got to share. And then what we will be doing is we'll be going into the breakout rooms, and you guys will be in a little group where you'll be sharing, each give a chance to share on your 5 Ps of where you're at, so you can get feedback from the group. So we'll be managing that process. And then we will come back into the main room and give final feedbacks, and maybe Donna will do some amazing, miraculous magic work for us, but we'll see how we go on time.
Okay.
How does that sound, everybody?
What is magic work?
Secret, Donna. We can't tell them. Come, shh.
Hey. Can't tell what you don't know. So awesome. I will do something when we come back if we have time. Cool. Awesome.
Okay, so that's the plan. Oh, we've got thumbs up. Have we got everybody, like, are you in? Are you out? Are you wanting to be here? Are you participating? Can we get some kind of something happening? Oh, my soul. Guys, this is an interactive program. So do know that you can communicate. Okay, good. Right. So, Donna, would you like to pick who's going first?
Oh, I'm going to go with Barbara.
All right. Great. So we get going. Barbara, it's over to you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, in terms of, I think I probably did a lot more of working on the program than anything else. In terms of the people that I have reached out, I think there are 3 people that I definitely feel that, something may come out of my interactions with them. And one of them actually was on LinkedIn last week doing a call on imposter syndrome. And this is someone that I had actually met through Toastmasters. I may say I quite know her very well. So she's invited me to her book launch, and hoping that I could also meet up with, other new people over there. And then the second one is a medical doctor who runs a weight loss program, and she has asked me to coach, her clients on mindset issues. because it's also really mainly a confidence issue. So we're working on what we can make out of that. And then the third person is an HR consultant that has got some work going on with a couple of companies. And we are set to meet, well, this week didn't work out. We'll try to make it next week so that she can talk to me about some of the things that she like to have some of her clients coached on. And I think for me, those are really the three that have kind of made sense, in the last couple of weeks that I've been reaching people out. Yeah.
Okay, so what's working and what's not working?
I don't know. I think I'm still all over. I'm still worried about because I don't also have either software or systems to channel, my contacts or even people who may be interested. I'm not sure how to do this. Yeah, so I think that's also the bit that I would like clarity on in terms of how do I channel? I don't have a website. I don't have a website. I'm not sure. I don't have an email software, that kind of thing. So I'm still a little worried about the back end of things to pull things together.
Barbara, can I just ask, how many clients do you currently serve?
So I don't have paying clients per se. I do have clients that I'm coaching pro bono so that I can get testimonials from.
Okay, so are we answering as we go, Michelle?
Yeah, I think let's answer as we go, and then we can move
Okay.
along. So did you want to take the on?
Cool. I would just say just be mindful of even your own mindset as to what you feel is an obstacle. Right now, the focus should be about getting your first client that's paying you and then your next 10, you do not need any systems. Honestly, you can track that in a spreadsheet if you really, really need to. But there's also like free stuff. Just sign up to HubSpot or something like that that's free. But you don't need to have the super clever back-end systems until you're ready to be really launching your free offering. And I know that's what this program is taking you through. And so we do want you to be building that out. But right now, you need to focus on getting your first 10 clients, which normally is through people that you know, your networks, getting, introductions to people versus doing any super complicated marketing activities. So I'm not saying you don't build that out, but don't let the stress of that stop you from connecting with people to get referrals and the first 10 clients. Does that make sense?
So is there a way that Gmail can give like so I don't like the fact that I'm still writing to people from a Gmail account, and I know that quite a few corporates don't really take well, when they're communicating with people
So
from Gmail.
similarly, if you've got your domain, if you've bought your URL, then you can sign up for a Google business account, and basically you point your domain URL. I don't even know how you do it, but it's super. If you go online and how do I do it, you can do it. And I'm saying that because I don't currently have a website. I've been building a website for a while, and now it's actually finally getting launched. And yet I have quite a number of clients. I've not needed to do it. So like getting caught on the systems is not a big thing. I mean, I have the email systems, of course, but you can still have your domain that you purchase. You don't even have to have it hosted, and you redirect the DNS.
Can I jump in?
Google. Yeah.
Can I jump in quick? So if you've got your Google domain, you actually get a free email address that you can adjust through that. So I think that's what Donna's saying. So I think Barbara, definitely what Donna is saying, but can I share my screen, Donna, for you? Because I picked it up for you, what Roger did at one of the other events. And I think this is exactly what you're saying here. And I think, Barbara, the same thing comes down, you know, your first thing is get your first paying customer, then move towards your first 10, which is what Donna's doing. So what do you do and what do you don't do? And one of the big things is time and money into systems, right? Use what's simple. You can use a Google Sheet. You don't have to get complicated, right? Careful that you're not trying to think that your business needs all of these additional expenses when you actually don't. So this is, I'll get the Rosaline, Rosaline normally shares it for me, but I'll put it into the Gap group for you guys so you can actually see this. This is very, it's a standard presentation that Roger's used already for many of our presentations. So I will just drop that through to you guys. But this is important to know where you're at and what you're doing. And this is, I think Donna was sharing. Don, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So the more important question is to go, what avenues do you have to get those first 10 clients?
Yeah, so mainly it's LinkedIn and obviously people that are on my phone. The two people, I mentioned three people, two of them are my contacts. And then the one person, it's a medical doctor. I had taken, a worker there and we just struck conversation and that was it. So it was just a chance conversation that ended up with potential work with her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Barbara, I'm just trying to look on the members table and all the other weeks. I'm just not seeing what your business name is. Oh, Skills Expression. That's right. That's right. Okay. So at this point, it's and I won't spend all the time here, but it is important that you are showing up where the clients are as well. So look at what events can you go to, where are your ideal clients hanging out, how can you go and be present and be mingling and networking with them. I think that is super, super important for you to do, because the phone contacts is one, LinkedIn is one. We really look at you having 5 sources, routes to market into that initial inquiry. So I would be looking at networking events. I would be looking at going to other events that people have or that are of interest to your audience.
Yeah, so my September month is actually filled up as well with quite a few events to attend. There's the HR professional body that's running a conference, and I've also really spoken there before, so there's quite a few people that I can latch on there. And there's also an e-commerce event that I am gonna be at, where I'll also meet quite a few people that are on there. And I'm also a member of a friend of Comensa, also, climbing on some of their virtual meetings and all of that. So yeah, I am doing some of it. I think it's just that I guess I haven't really seen something tangible coming out of these. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, they take work, right? And it's about you building trust. Let's have a look when you do your presentation in our breakout rooms. Let's get into a bit more of the nitty gritty then for you.
Okay.
But between now and then, I want you to be thinking about, but if there was more people that I knew, what could I be contacting them and having a conversation? Just even sharing, they might know people, right? So write that list of 20 people. Michelle might have asked you to write 10. I don't know. I always think if you can write 10, you can write 20. If you can write 20, you can write 40, or at least you want to push yourself to doing that. So have a think about that between now and then. 100 people, you said, Michelle.
Yes, you can't write a million business if you're not doing 100 people. I'm sorry. Who actually went and wrote a list of 100 people they know from last week?
So
One
100
person?
people to call, to contact.
Well, everybody has a network of 270 odd people of close contacts within your stuff. And if you can't put a list of 100 people to potentially go and talk to, then you don't even have a start of anything, right? And I think one of the biggest challenges, and I'm going to jump in here because Barbara, 3 people, I'm sorry, is not enough in a week if you're wanting to get clients. We spoke about this. So Emma, I'm going to say congratulations on writing your list. Whoop, whoop. Yay, of 100 people. But 3 is not enough, guys. It's not enough. Who else wrote a list of people? Anyone? Karen, how many did you put on?
Well, I'm fortunate that I already have a warm list before
Okay,
you
so-
asked us to do that.
You're
But I did follow the process of a one-to-many.
Okay.
And I did an invite to them to come to an event, a webinar that was on a topic that would be relevant to my customer audience. And I had 53 enrollments.
Wonderful. Excellent. Right. Who else did that? I think somebody put their hand up. Cynthia, put your hand up. How many people did you contact last week or write a list of?
117.
Excellent. Brilliant. Guys, you can't expect clients to land in your lap. Right? You can't expect clients to land in your lap. You can't come to things and just hope to God that someone's going to drop in your lap and say, come and do work for me. I'm sorry. Let's be real. This is the latest things here. If you think just because you've got a landing page and you decide you don't want to phone people and you don't want to talk to people, you're going to make millions in your business, you're not. So if you don't do the exercise, you can't get any results. Right? 3 people's not enough. Barbara, I'm appreciative that you've done it, but 3 is not enough. You need to get yourself out there. If people don't know who you are, you're never going to get any kind of anything. So guys, do the exercise. And if you think that you're so great and your business is doing so great that you don't need to do the exercise, then I would love to see who made 10 grand last week. Put up your hand. Who made 20 grand? Who made any money? Okay, so how much money did you make, Karen? How much money did you make last week in your business?
Only made 800 last week.
Right, 800. Okay, Mito, how much money did you guys bring in last week?
Not really sure, but we sold a couple of tickets and career reset the program, so no more than $200. Yeah.
Okay, $200. Ray, you put your hand up.
I got a contract, $1,000 a month. So
They paid you last week?
No, they didn't pay me last week, but I did some work for them and I'll be invoicing them tomorrow, 31st.
Excellent. Great. Winston, how much money did you make last week? I can't hear you. You're muted. Still can't hear you. You're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Michelle, nothing. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay. I didn't make some money with Body Fitness at Home, but I make some money with Compromis, my other website, and I think I have like 2 times €1,000.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank
So guys,
you.
the reason I'm going back for this is because if you don't know how many people you're reaching out to, you don't know how many conversions you're making, you don't know how much money you're bringing in, how do you expect to run a proper business model? I'm just asking the question, right? So the first step is writing the list of the 100 people. So Emma and where's she gone? I think she's disappeared. Yes, Cynthia, big kudos to actually going and doing the exercise, because now you at least have something you can work with. Those of you that are getting money coming in just regularly, okay, but on this promotion, you guys need to start being really aware of who am I speaking to every week? How many conversions am I doing? What's happening? Am I talking to somebody? Am I not talking to somebody? If you are having a conversation, is it working? Is it not working? What do I need to tweak? And $200 in a bigger business like you guys, Mito and Marcia, it's not enough. So what are we doing? right? What are we doing? Did we follow any of the things on Facebook and reach out in communities? What happened? So this is what we're trying to ask for today, guys. Like, where are you at? So really, what's working, what's not working? So Donna, I'm going to choose the next one because I'd like to see what happened, let's say, for example, with Emma. You know, you wrote out the 100 people. Who did you contact? What's happening with that? Because, guys, no offense, you can put as many plans as you want together and as many ideas as you want, but if you don't have somebody paying you, you don't have a business. And I know it sounds harsh, but it's reality time today. And this is why you're on this call, because you guys want results. Yeah. So Donna, over to you.
Can I just
Yeah.
add something in context? And excuse me if you've already, I'm sure you have already covered this on GAP, but it's just a really useful reminder. So, you know, the list of 100 people, fabulous. Then it's about breaking it down into how many people are you going to call each week? Now, if you already are in maybe full-time employment, whilst you're building your business on the side, you might say, look, I can fit in, I can reach out to maybe 50 people, but I can fit in 5 calls. So you want to be mapping out on your impact metrics. Actually, there's a little bit better. Does the slides have the weekly targets, Mish? Okay, well, maybe I'll stop sharing, and if you want to bring that one up in a second. But even here, if you're looking at the impact metrics, because what you need to start doing is going, well, if I have 100 people, what's my conversion rate through to an actual paying customer? If you don't have any benchmarks on your conversions at each step because you are new, then that's where it's really helpful to use this impact metrics here in this bottom slide that you can see, just as a guide, right? And of course, the average dollar spend, you need to adjust that to what yours would be. But let's say you want to get one client who's paying you $2,000. If these conversions, if you reach out to 100 people, you might have 50% based on this that take up an invite to come and either get a copy of your free thing, and you can just send it manually if you haven't got all the systems set up, or come and join your Facebook group, wherever it is that you're housing your community so that you can continue to engage with them. From that 50, you know, you're going to love them, you're going to nurture them, you're going to give them heaps of value, so that when you put out a call to action of them having an experience with you, and this could be a one-to-one discovery call, for lack of a more innovative word on there. This is that appointment with purpose, right? You might only have 20% that actually take up that invite, which gives you 10 prospecting. So our 100 on our list has gone to 10 prospects just purely by nature of this as a benchmark, right? Now, you might initially have your list with a much higher conversion rate, like Karen, who said she's got a warm list. She might have higher conversions because they've been waiting for her to do an offer, you know, but then eventually you get through the super warm ones and you need to be just bringing in fresh new energy all the time. But even on that, let's say 10 people take up that call. Now, on a 10% conversion rate, and again, this could be low, you know, if I get someone who's pre-qualified through all of these, we know from when we did our stats, like when we'd have founders roundtables or things like that, when they're pre-qualified, my close was 80%. If they're not pre-qualified, from prospects to customers, right? So 10 might be low, but you don't know until you actually get in the process. So if you haven't yet got your own benchmarks, figures, use these as a guide. So you can see from this alone, even if we increase this to 50, right? And said, well, we've got a 50% close rate at a $2,000 product, or maybe it's a $12,000 product, like Ray said. Let's say that's for the whole year, right? Not just $1,000 a month. So let's say they signed up $1,000 a month, but it's for a whole year. So it's 12,000. If we had 50% conversion to 20% conversion to 10% conversion, then to get 10 clients, he needs 1,000 people, which is essentially what level 2 is, right? Or to get, if the conversion rate changes, then so do all these numbers that you need here. This is why, you know, Michelle is really saying start at least with your 100 people on your list, and then figure out how many people you can reach out and contact. So reaching out and contacting as a first step is different to having the 30-minute call or the 1-hour call. So you can always reach out to a lot of people and then keep working that list. You will have fewer number in your diary, but then you follow up the next week and so on and so on. So this is that direct reach out mode. Does that help? Not sure. Give me a thumbs up or a no.
Maybe a thumbs up. Okay, so what I'd like to do is just move around the room a little faster. Otherwise, guys, we're going to run out of time. But the biggest thing that Donna is saying to you, and I'm going to use this one as an example, and this is what she was saying. This is in your spreadsheet, guys. We've gone through this. And Karen, I'm using you because yours is complete, right? Guys, you got to try and put something in. You got to work with it. The video is at the top here if you forgot how to do it. So please go back. Make sure you're tracking your numbers. I don't think this is something that's hard to do. Barbara, you don't need a system. This is not a system. This is an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. So it's got formulas in it. So you can use this. But guys, you got to be tracking what's going on, right? If you don't know what's going on, you've got no visibility on your business. How will you know? So when you say only, I think maybe 5 people. When Donna and I are working our own businesses, if I go to her and she keeps me accountable and I say, maybe I spoke to 10 people, she just go, what? 10 people or 1 person? How many did you speak to, Michelle? Right? So I think let's get a little bit more accurate. You're wanting to put something into the market. You guys, some of you are saying that your offer's ready and you want to go with it. How many people are interested? What's going on? What's working? What's not working? But track it. Okay, 10 people listed on my post. They all said amazing. I reached out to every single one of them. Nobody wants to have a call with me. Then we can have a conversation about something, right? So, Karen, this is great because I can see exactly what's happening, right? You can also see exactly what's happening. And you can see when you're under, when you're over, those kind of things. And this thing gives you a viewpoint of where to go from. And then you can say, okay, the conversions that are actually coming in, Michelle, they're not really right based on what your template was. So I've adjusted them accordingly to mine. Now, remember last week, we spoke about if you don't want to use this, create your own spreadsheet, but out of every 5 people that are like in your list, generally 2 say yes, 2 say no, and 1 is a maybe. So just work it like that, guys. You don't even have to go into the spreadsheet. I mean, if this freaks you out from a data perspective, right? Right. So if I go to Emma's list of 100 people, out of her 100 people, right, 20% would have said yes to having a further conversation. So 20 people, 20 people would have said, or maybe that's wrong. Sorry, 40 people. Fuck, whatever. Excuse me. Ooh. The numbers are wrong, but you get what I'm saying. If you just take that maths, out of every 10 people, 4 people should be saying yes, 4 people should be saying no, and 2 is a maybe, something like that, right? If you just work on that, guys, then that'll give you some kind of indication of what's going on. But if you're not speaking to people and you're not reaching out to people and you don't have people on a list, then you're hoping. And hope is beautiful for creators, but it's not a practical business solution.
Yeah. Well done, Karen, on putting this together as well. And it's a great example for
excellent example. But all of you guys have got your own sheets in here anyway. So if you can't find your name, please let the team know. But I think everybody's got a name in here. And it's all at the top. So you can use this. Everybody's got one. So guys, please use it and please check into it. And next week, I hope that you can share a bit more detail on what's going on. Like, what's the reality of the situation? Because then we can at least help you. Yeah. But if you're not speaking to people, you're not doing the stuff and you're not getting clients, I'm not sure what other solutions to make. Yeah. Is that cool? All right. So Emma, let's go to you and say what's working, what's not working. And out of your 100 people, what happened when you made your list? Did you start speaking to them? What happened?
So I reached out to 30 people last week, so not the full 100. And so it was all warm network people. So a mixture of like emails I already had, or some via LinkedIn if they've moved and I don't have their email. And what I found is lots of support. So I did get lots of responses, but whilst they're warm networkers and they're obviously supporters of me, they aren't my target client. So there's lots of, oh yeah, I'll have a think if there's anyone I can introduce you to, or this, that, and the other. There's only one phone call, and that is from one of those people, and she's like, actually, I'm working with someone in my marketing agency at the moment that I might be able to introduce you to. Can we so I'm jumping on a call with her after this to see if she thinks it's right to introduce us. But that's the only sort of thing that went beyond just replies saying, oh, this is exciting, yes, of course, we'll share your content, we'll keep you in mind. So I think my takeout from it is, yes, I can keep doing that, but I kind of want to start going more directly at people who are likely to be my target. So I started trying to search on LinkedIn. So I've only got free LinkedIn, and I was trying to do searches, and as you probably know, it's quite limited what you can search, and it was doing like weird ass stuff, like you can search topics. So I was searching the topic of independent business, which I know is something people discuss, but it kept coming back saying no results. I'm like, that is literally a lie. Something is going wrong. So I don't know.
I think there's a twofold strategy here. I mean, Donna, you can jump in as well, of course, but I think there's twofold here. One is around taking that list of 100 people and filtering it out and saying who's a high priority, medium, or low priority, right? Who out of that 100 did you go via email? Because email's colder than actually getting on the phone or dropping a voice note and saying, hey, Donna, it's Mish. I'd love to chat to you about some stuff. Have you got time for me this week? Remember, when you're reaching out, it's not about telling them everything at once. It's around saying, hey, are you keen to just have a quick chat to me? So careful that you're not, like, all of us are at fault of this at some point in our life. We try to give the client too much information before he's even had a conversation, right? So try, hey, listen, I'm working on a brand new project. I'd love to have a couple of 10 minutes of your time. Have you got time for me? That's it. Yes or no. I've got time to 1 or Wednesday at 3. I would revisit that part. Okay. Because the more you give, the less comes from it. Yeah. And then it's about actually, like, remember I dropped that value presentation last week. What are the questions that you want to be asking this person? The reason I wanted to ask you, because the last time you spoke to me, you indicated this, right? You were speaking about this. I want to know, has anything changed in your world? Like, what's going on? Like, make it human, right? It's in your case, Emma, it's going to be a ton easier getting referrals to get 3 to 5 to 10 clients than it is going to be trying to cold score them. You can build it at the same time, but what you want to be doing is you want to be definitely focusing on the hotness of the leads than the coldness of the leads. Balance it though, and LinkedIn, I think some of the search words, maybe review them, but Google, which are the best search words for this? And it'll give you, or ask ChatGPT. I mean, this was an interesting thing that one of my mentors said yesterday, and I'm happy to share it. He said, well, when you're programming ChatGPT, you can say, ask it to ask you 10 questions. I think we talked about it last week or the week before or somewhere, 10 questions about me, and actually put the information in and then ask it, what is a great direct reach out, or what kind of leads should I be focusing on if this is? And it will actually regurgitate the basis to it, which is an easier start if you prep a bit better than just trying to, because I find it's easy to go and sit on LinkedIn for hours and you blow hours, right? to kind of search the people. So really define what you're doing and make the allocation of the time to what you want to be doing. But I would so go back to your 100 and differentiate who's hot, cold, medium, and then actually book a conversation. Don't just send them an email. Like, actually say, hey, Don, have you got time for me? I want to talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I think I've got that. I need to get past the block, because I'm most of my network, and I'm happy to work with the UK. That's part of my goal. But most of my network is in the UK, and I've got this, like, you can't phone them, but I've got WhatsApp and I can leave them a voice note and then we can talk on WhatsApp. So I need to
same thing. Drop them a voice note and say, you can drop it. You can say, hey, Mish, I'd love to have a chat with you. WhatsApp, but don't give them the detail of what you want to talk
Yes.
about.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
book the appointment, right? Because
yeah,
you're much better when all of us are better when we actually have a conversation with someone, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's my suggestion, because it's easy to hide behind technology. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But could
I
and
love voice notes and voice messages. Mish knows
I know.
that. That's my preferred way of
the
communicating.
queen.
Yeah, I'm definitely the queen of it. But why I like it too is because your tone can come across, your openness. You can get more across in a short amount of time. And
Yeah.
I agree with what Michelle's saying, and don't give like this long-winded speech on why, but you still need to give some context. So of course it's case by case as well. Like if I got a message that said, hey Donna, you know, I'd love to talk to you about a project I've got happening, unless they were in my inner circle, I don't know that I would respond, because I don't have a lot of time. Or I might respond and say, oh cool, what's it about? So you do need to be prepared before I'm going to give up my time. So that's where the value cycles, which is the trust cycle, right, remains the same. But if you leave a voice message, you can say, you know, Emma, I've just, as you know, I work in let's say mindset. I know when we've previously spoken, you've had a keen interest on it, or I know that you work with this, like whatever it is that's making you want to connect with them, and say, I would so value 5 or 10 minutes of your time if you would be keen to speak with me on some things around this. Like even like why you're wanting to speak with them is going to help them come back. And if it is only 5 or 10 minutes, honestly, you can get a lot said in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And
fair chance it will probably go for 20.
Exactly. So you guys don't need to book a long call, but Donna's right. I was, when you know the people, and the list on your list is known people, it's not ice cold people, right? So that's what I mean with the 100 list. It's people that you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, Don, I want to speak to you. Make time for me, Khan. I'm not saying that's the right way, but what I'm saying is it's about the conversation, and it's about hearing your voice, and it's about that, which is the crux to it. Because guys, with all ChatGPT-ish, everything is technology now. Humans need a bit of human. So,
and it is mindset too, right? You need to not be afraid of getting rejected, and also don't take rejection personally. It might just be you are reaching out to see if people would like to interact, and if not, that's okay. My partner used to say, I got rejected again by this person today. I wonder how many more times they're going to reject me before they say yes. And that for me, I was like, wow, what a great mindset, because it's not taking that rejection personally. This was when he would go and knock on doors of like law firms and try and have the call, a meeting with the CEO. He's like, that person's rejected me 3 times. I wonder if it'll be the 4th or the 5th time that they say yes. But has got, and resilience, right? Resilience.
I think it's a huge thing, because guys, I think there's stats out there. You can actually Google it. I mean, I'll probably can go on ChatGPT for you just now, but I think out of the rejections done, I think there's a percentage of how many times people say no before they say yes and stuff like that. So actually, don't give up so easily.
Right? And you want to track it, right? See it as a game. This is the really interesting stuff, because it could be when you self-reflect on it, you go, oh, I wasn't very warm, or I wasn't very welcoming, or I was a bit abrupt, or maybe you'll start getting insights, just like, well, that headline of that ad didn't convert as well, or that when we have a picture that looks less like this and more like this, it converts better. Even in your conversations and your direct reach out, this is where you want to become lovers of data. Tracking it through this spreadsheet that the team have set up for you here is the first step, by all means. And then you can start to go, well, I wonder why my conversions were different in that week. Could be you just felt more on your game. Could be anything. You practiced it a few more times. We all, it's like when you make pancakes, that first one is crap. Well, so are your first few calls as well, right? And so don't pick your number one VIPs unless you know they're red hot no matter what you say. Leave them to like number 10, 11, so you can kind of burn through your fumbles in the first 10 calls. That's my approach anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to jump to Karen. Since you've got your numbers and data, you can give us feedback sooner, quicker. What's working, what's not working? Where do you need support?
Well, what's working is getting the right topic, because I do the webinars with the educators and looking at increasing the membership numbers. So it's getting the right topics, getting the right timing. So yeah, so those sorts of things are working. I'm just trying to think what's not working. I guess it's getting the quality leads, and that's why I will need to go back and, like as Donna said, I've still got the warm, but go and start bringing in some fresh contacts. And so I've just been making notes here about.
Well, which networking events do you go to, Karen? Like, where do you other people
Well, the
outside
whole
of
thing
the
is
know
with
you?
teachers, they don't kind of network as in they have business network meetings. They network virtually, so they have they have discussion groups, they have professional associations. So recently I did go to a conference where I had a chance to talk with about 100 people there. So that's the only way that I can get into their network, is by attending the type of conferences where those educators go.
So I have another lady, she's actually in your part of the world. Her name's Karen from one of my other groups. I'm going to introduce you because she works in a similar network to you, and I think you guys can make that work in one, because she's doing a lot of that kind of stuff too. But I think it's worth connecting with more of the network. And I don't know, this is the next question. Sandy Herrera, have you spoken to her recently, with her and her sister, and what they're doing?
Yes, yeah. Speak a fair bit with Stacey, more so than Sandy. Because Stacey is in school psychology, which is an area where I'm working. But one thing I have done is I have become a sponsor for one of the professional network groups of the teacher librarians who I'm trying to reach. So
that's good.
That has now given me given me like another list of people that I can communicate with.
I think that's the thing is, you have to get out there, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, and Donna and I know this because we both do it all the time. It's not always super comfortable to be networking all the time, but in your space, you definitely need to bring new blood in. And then the other suggestion I would say is definitely referrals, right? Who knows who? Because if Emma was able to write a list of 100 and Cynthia wrote a list of 117 people, if somebody's in a particular profession, inevitably, that's why LinkedIn works, right? Because their network is within that profession, within that space, generally. So it's worth actually checking out your database and seeing who knows whom or who connects with whom in the warmer space. I would also
about 30% of people who come to my webinars are referred by a colleague.
Well, that's amazing. So then why are you not increasing that number? That's easier to increase than going cold leads. That's the question, warm is much easier to do something more. Maybe go back to your value cycle and what can you do to reward people who are bringing someone? What can you do for them so they can bring more people? Things like that. Consider those kind of programs or principles, because that will then, drive more of that percentage, because 30% is a big number, Karen.
Just, what I would add too is, I agree, your referrals, you want to have your referral program in there, and it's not always about awarding with a monetary value. It can be maybe people that have referred quite a number to you, or maybe you say when someone's referred 3, just as a little benchmark for you. It doesn't have to be hard and fast. You might also get them to speak for a moment on one of your webinars. Maybe there's a particular topic that they would be really great at speaking. So it's your way of giving them some recognition and exposure. And you don't even have to mention that it's because of referrals. You can just say it's someone that, you know, you've got to know through this and has a specialty in this area. And so then they're going to be inspired to continue doing that, right? You're building their network by putting them in front of people as well. And the whole law of reciprocity comes at play. It just comes back, and it might not even be the person that you highlight and spotlight that necessarily gives back to you. It just will come back from somewhere.
I'm aware that I've run a couple of forums where I've invited people who are regularly there, and what I try and encourage them to do is to let their colleagues know that they're speaking. They've got it like a 20-minute segment in a whole hour, so I try to get that happening. So I'll focus again on that before the end of the year.
Awesome, that's cool. All right, should we go to Cynthia because she did the list on it, and then anybody else who actually has had any results to share before, because I don't want to not do the breakout rooms, right? But maybe, guys, those of you that didn't do any activity last week, put in the chat what activity you're going to do this week with regards to your leads and clients, what's going to be different. But Cynthia, let's go to you. What's working, what's not working, and how did it go through your list? I can't really see you because it's in the dark, so I'm guessing it's really
I don't know what happened, a power outage or something, and anyway, well, honestly, can you hear me okay? Because I'm on my phone right now.
Yes, we can hear you well.
Well, so I've switched gears. I'm still doing this, but my company just kind of exploded, and so I've been putting a lot of energy in that, and we have fires all over, so I'm like dying here, my sinuses. So but during those, I'm also I was targeting, I still am kind of, but luxury real estate teams, and so I started with that, and then things happened, but I'm working them both together, but mostly my other business.
Okay, so is there anything you want to share that's working, not working, that you need some support on? Because you said your one business is exploding, this one you're still working on. Is there anything that you wanted to share today that we can help you with?
Yeah, I'm putting more energy in the other one right now, but I'm still contacting my my real estate people. So but I don't have time to do that. We're just kind of putting that on hold. I presented some stuff, kind of put it in their ear, I guess. So
okay. All right, so do you need any support or anything that you wanted to share? Not really?
I can tell you about the new platform that I have, but I don't know if this would be appropriate.
No, I'm just asking for now. We're going to rope it into what's working, what's not working. We can jump into those, share your highlights somewhere different, but okay. So
I wanted to collaborate, just kind of listen to you guys. I still want to be part of this, so.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, there's always learning to be have had what, my English just died on me. All right.
Yeah. Well,
okay. So about the fire,
yeah, I just still want to, learn some stuff from you guys too. So yeah.
Of course. Awesome. Thank you for showing up and doing the exercise. Amazing. All right. Heidi, you've got your hand up. So let's go to you.
Yeah, so I'm putting myself up there. So, I think my first chat that I was saying I was running this company, the consumer research company. So actually we've just sold out. So winding that business down, and it got absolutely crazy because people realized it wasn't going to be around. Now, my biggest challenge is that I'm trying to go into a completely new area in which I don't really have expertise and where there's no trust. So how do I build that trust? Because now I'm known in this area, but that's not really where I want to continue. But that, I've sold it, obviously I've sold the IP with it, so I'm not really allowed to participate in that. So how do I build my reputation? And that's kind of my answer at the moment. It's like, I don't want to look like an idiot because of ego issues probably. And obviously then the question is, how do I build that? Because it's completely new to me, right? It's an angst thing at the moment. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be offering. And I don't know if I maybe need to have a special session with Donna or yourself to maybe just go through that and just kind of unpack that, because like you saw my video when I was in the flow thing, I have a very warm lead. And the question is then, how do I build a coaching business that I can scale? So that's the other thing I'm trying to understand, is that, can you scale the coaching business? And like the question I also asked was, can creators actually be good coaches? Because we get bored very quickly. So that's my dilemma at the moment now. I love the stats, I love the thing. I think when I get that going, then but me, it's just understanding the offering and how do I develop that offering, how to develop my reputation in that area. That's my biggest hang up at the moment.
So since Donna's a creator and she's an excellent coach, I think I'm going to pass this to her, right?
Yeah, creators can get bored easily. But I mean, how long have you been coaching, Heidi?
Never. So I've never built. So effectively closed this business out in the next month and now starting something completely new. And so that's literally what I did. So Michelle came to me and said, well, I do this. And I love the tools. I've used them before in my own business, and I've used it before before I had my other business. So I definitely love the tools. I love the concept. And I'd love to build a business, an online business, such that, that I can use it. So is coaching what I should be doing? I don't know.
Okay. So you haven't got any clients that you've worked with?
Well, one prospect, because I did during the flow consultant, I did the assignment, and she's like, well, okay, I want the team to do it. So now I'm like, oh my God, okay.
I mean, I think this is the thing with entrepreneurship and being a coach or whatever your business idea is. You don't know until you actually get on the field and start doing it, right? So as an example, I've been business consulting and training for 26 years. And a part of that is, and Michelle knows, like, the operational efficiency is something that I'm super passionate about. And I thought, all right, I've had this client who I've been doing the leadership mindset stuff for like 8 years with them as they're growing and evolving in business coaching. But they were desperately needing a bit of a virtual COO. And they asked me to do it. And I said no. And then they kept asking. And I said, okay, here's the nice, handsome fee that you can pay for it. And I did it. And I thought, I'll open an arm of virtual COOs and I'll create all the content and everything for it. And I did it. And after 6 months, I went, what am I doing on this? This is not my jam. I do not enjoy this. And I mean, I enjoy getting it set up, but I don't, which is that creator energy. Get in, get the project, get the people in to do it. But the amount of driving force that they needed, it was like, no. But that was for me, right? I'm not saying it wouldn't have been perfect for me 20 years ago, or it won't be perfect for someone else that I can bring into the team as a virtual COO, and I can write, here's the systems I do. My point is, I didn't know until I did it. And I think that's important for you to do. Just get on the field and start playing. Do some flow consulting.
So maybe we should just do this first customer, the hot lead, and just go out and find out how I mess up.
Go for it. And just have integrity, right? So whatever you promise to them that you will do it. And see how you go. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that made me sad about closing my business and transferring is my staff. I mean, they didn't want to leave. So I really believe in developing people and empowering people. So for me, that's a passion. And that's maybe something where I think the junior Jew could come in. So I need to think about that. So like maybe just take this first customer and do it. And like I said, and she knows that I'm training. So that's the advantage as well. She's a good friend.
Because then we can talk about business models, like whether you do a more there's many different models for coaching, consulting, and education. So, but you've still got to have a love for it.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think I'll jump in here, Heidi, because I also think the thing is, it's around your values and your mission, right? What do you actually want to be doing? And I think if that's clear, even if you don't know your offering, right, you can go. And this client particularly, she wants to do something with you. So my suggestion would be say, listen, Mrs. Client, amazing. I'd love to do something with you too. Let's test something for the first month. I'm going to charge you $500. And I'm going to give you these 4 things this month. If we don't get this right, I'll give you your money back, for example. You can test something like that. Yeah. There's no loss to you because you've got a business that's running on the other side. But the thing is that nobody knows, firstly, what you're transitioning into. So like, have you updated your LinkedIn? Have you updated, hey guys, I'm transitioning into this space. Do you know me? There's also your brand and what you're talking about. Nobody really knows, right? So work with a small list and go into your network of people who've got teams and say, what is your biggest challenge? What do you need help with right now? Can I possibly come and help you? I mean, when I started, I did some work for some of my clients for free until it worked. And then they said, oh my gosh, I'd love to pay you, right? So you have to figure out whether you actually love doing it and what your path is. And that Donna will help you with for years, right? She's brilliant at putting that together. But I think go and do something. Say, yes, I'd love to work with you. Okay, what do you want to do first? Because the first few things I would do with you is 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do that over 30 days. And then let's talk again. Because then you're at least out there, you're doing some of the things, you're formulating what you're doing, and you're not waiting for something to happen or formulate in your brain. Because when we sit and formulate in our brains, we get tangled.
You want perfection.
Correct. And work, life, business, nothing is perfect. And guys, with like being perfect is not so fun. It's a huge amount of pressure and it's a huge amount of stress, and it comes from many other things. So, just run with it. What's the worst that can happen? She says, listen, Heidi, it was great working you for this month, but it wasn't really what I needed. Okay, well, what did you need? And it's a learning curve. Always remember to try and get into a space around that you're learning and earning. So if someone's paying you while you're learning to do something, this is a plus. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think don't get too tied up on the technicalities of it, that you need to have everything right before you go. Just dive. Go. What's the worst that can happen? She doesn't want to work with you anymore. And you have to find somebody new. Okay, great.
I've lost a friend.
Personally, if your trust is so high in a friendship space, the likelihood of you losing the friend is slow. It's not going to happen. She might just say,
she's been super supportive. She's been super supportive.
Correct.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
And then she can, be patient. Trust sometimes takes time in a new space, and it's also about the value that you're adding. So that's what I would do, is I would give a ton of value and say, I'm going to charge you this for my first month because I don't have specific rates for things that we're doing and we're working it out. You're my friend, so I'm going to charge this, but if it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back. What's the word? You see what I mean? So wing it and go with it. Because if you don't ever start, then everything's going to be an excuse before you get there.
Absolutely.
I don't have this in place. I don't have a spreadsheet in place. I don't have this. I haven't done enough debriefs. Debriefs, you should be doing at least 3 for free anyway, so you can get into that framework of it. And your feedback on your debrief was great. So, run with that. Go and find other people. Go and say to some business contacts, hey, you know what? I've just added a new thing into my portfolio. I'd love to test it out on you. Would you be open to taking an assessment? And so Donna, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think this a lot that's coming up is looking at what we're telling ourselves, right? And what I love, and I've learned so much from Roger over the years, is how do you turn a problem into an opportunity? So I think whether you're starting out small and the investment from a client into working with you is small or it's super large, you can do this. So I've, at times when I've gone, these clients are asking for this, I'm not quite ready, I haven't quite got all that prepped, I've just been honest. And one of them was my biggest client. I said, look, I don't have all of the stuff there that you're wanting on demand ready. They're like, but it's in your head, Donna. I'm like, yeah, and it takes a bit to get that out and prepared in the state I want. I said, but I'm happy to work with you guys if we see this as a co-creation. So rather than charging you the 50,000, I'm going to do it for 30,000. But it's a co-creation. So if there's something that comes up that we need immediately, I'm going to create it in that point for you. But it's not going to be, I'm emailing it to you in the next 5 minutes. And they loved it. They got 50,000 of value for 30. And I got to, as Michelle said, get paid while I was creating it. That's called building the bike as you're riding the bike. So you can do that even if you're doing like a small 8-week program for your first 5, if they're your friends, they're people you know. Say, look, guys, I really appreciate, you know, this is what it can do for you. I haven't got some of the stuff ready, but I'd love it if, as a part of the first launch of this for me, you wouldn't mind like giving me feedback as we go. So some things are going to be a little unpolished, but I'm going to give you the polished version once that's done as well. So get creative and do things like that. People actually really appreciate that authenticity. I hesitated on doing that at first, thinking, oh my gosh, Donna, shame on you. You know, you should have it done. You should have, it's been on your plan for 6 months. And instead I just went, there's no perfect, like now they're asking for it. Just do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for being brave and asking the question. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so we can choose to either do some mindset stuff, Donna, or we can go in the breakout rooms. I know we've only got 30 minutes left, guys. Let's do a vote. Who would like to present or get more time to present for next week? So 1 is I want to present now, or 2, I'm okay to present next week. No answer means that Donna and I will make the decision. Okay. All right. This is a democracy. So I don't know if that's even a thing, but yeah, we'll balance out the votes of who wants to do this week. Winston wants to do this week.
My creator brain at 10 o'clock at night goes, what was option 2 again?
I'm going to present now. So Winston wants to present now, and everybody else is going with a 2. They want to present next week. So that's interesting. Is everybody voted? I'm sorry, Winston, I think you're outvoted.
By a landslide outvote.
So this is my suggestion. Next week, it gives everybody a bit more time to prepare, and also Veronica and Melissa on our side. But next week, what we will do is each person, you'll be going into a breakout room. You'll go with Donna, with myself, and then I'll see if we have a third mentor available next week to help, or a team member to come in, and you will present your 5 Ps, right, next week. And I'd like to make sure that it's a very
Can I suggest we do the 5 Ps and the customer pathway?
Yes,
Michelle,
sorry,
like,
the customer pathway, yes.
Not because the 5 Ps alone, we really need to see, honestly, I would like to see the 5 Ps, the customer pathway, and your compelling offer that's linked to your first thing that you're doing, whether that's like an event for you guys, Kasmira, or it's a free download, or it's the prospecting call. Like, let's really see what that is. So what's the prospecting thing?
Yeah. So Veronica, if you can just let Melissa know, she can drop that into the WhatsApp group. So what we're going to do now is, I think, Don, let's do some mind stuff. Emma's saying she needs to keep on track. I think, you know, whenever you're an entrepreneur, there's always ups and downs. And then let's talk about that, Don. And then what we'll do is we'll finish 20 past, 25 past. And then we can, everybody can finish off with what their word is for the day, or the evening or the morning. And then we will be prepared for next week. And next week, we'll just jump straight in with that. So we'll do a little 2-minute hello, and then you are going to be distributed. So everybody will have a chance to do that. Yes. And then we'll see what the prize is next week. I haven't thought about the prize yet.
All right. So I just pulled up a little presentation that I've done. So here's some magic I prepared a year ago. Let's roll with it.
See, I
right.
knew there was magic. I just had to tell you, I knew there was magic.
I know. So I want you to just think for a moment, what's the story, the biggest story, when you listen to all the chatter and the noise that's going on in your mind, what do you feel is holding you back the most? Maybe there's a fear of money. Maybe you're not charging enough. Look, I'm going to actually share my screen on this because I've got these as suggestions here. Yeah. Do you have a fear of money? Are you worried that it's got some horrible story attached to it? Are you not charging enough? Is that a part of the issue? Are you procrastinating? Watching cat videos. What is it? Is there an underlying concern that what if I succeed? Yeah. What if I fail to succeed? Sometimes there's both ends of that story. People are worried about succeeding and others are worried about not succeeding. So we want to have a look at how do we unlock your superpowers. But right now, I just want you to think, maybe it was one of those things that I shared, maybe it's something else that you feel is really holding you back. And if you are all open to using this space as an open space to share, please type it in the chat. If you don't want to, that's okay too. There is no compulsory sharing in this session. Okay. Fear of failure, procrastination. Procrastinating comes from sort of fear. Yeah, it all gets looped around, right? Casimiro, feel you're not good enough. Oh, that one comes up for all of us at some point, and sometimes might not go away too quickly, right? And it's definitely needs a bit of a dive into that and a reframe on the story that you're telling yourself. Because are there other days that you feel like Superman as well? Like, yeah, I got this. Or is it always I don't feel good enough?
Sometimes I think I have doubts every day. Sometimes there's like 5% doubt. Sometimes it's like 75% doubt. But yeah, it kind of follows me around.
Yeah, got it. Okay, I'm sure that there's others that relate to that as well. Fear of success, Emma said, also lack of self-value. Okay, so you guys and girls, ladies, are pretty quick at knowing what's there, right? Like it's on the tip of your tongue or it's at the front of your awareness. So what's really interesting is, why do we keep looping it, right? So and one of the things too is thinking the stories that you tell yourself, would you say them to your best friend? So would you say, you're right? Let's say Casimiro and I are best mates, and he'd say, you're right, Donna, you are worthless. You are, maybe that's not the word you're saying, but I'm sure sometimes when it's deep and dark, it might get there. You're just not good enough, Donna. You do not have what it takes. Really, you don't. Like, what are you doing? What are you even doing? I mean, you wouldn't say that to your best mate, right? If you genuinely had seeds of doubt, you might say to them, look, is there a better option? Do you think, or what else do you need to learn to succeed on this? Or if you can see clearly they do, and it's just a bit of courage that's needed, how can you be that cheerleader? We need to be that for ourselves as well. It's simple, but not always easy. And that's why it's neurology we have to build new neurology. And neurology, those neural pathways get built from past experiences, patterns of behavior get imprinted on a cellular level that when they get triggered, the reaction that goes through the information highway is faster than the speed of light. It's like you can have all this great intention that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do this, I'm going to believe in this, and next thing you're out of it, right? So the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are split in different directions. That's often because there's patterns that are in there, imprinted, that have us act and behave in a particular way. So we need to change our perceptions and elevate our perspective, which means getting more aware of our thoughts and changing them, right? And acknowledging that they've come from somewhere, and that's actually less interesting and less important to know the granular detail of. We don't need to get into paralysis by analysis. It's more about, yep, it's an imprint, it's a story that's not serving me well. It has been there for some time because I've been repeating this time and time again. More importantly and more interestingly is, how are we going to reframe that? How are we going to really, really tune into the awareness so that we can flip that story on its head when it shows up? Sometimes you will catch it at the thought level. Other times you'll catch it at a energy level. You know, you'll catch it at you're feeling like worked up about something. Other times you'll catch it when you're saying it out loud to someone, or maybe you're picking at someone else, and that's a reflection of what you're doing to yourself. I'm talking to everyone here, not anyone in particular. So it's really, really important to actually look at how do we turn that around. So would you guys like to know how to use the 5 elements to do that? Alrighty.
Yes. I'll just
Some
answer.
of you have seen this before, and this is the fast version of it. All right. Let me just share my slide. Sorry guys, I don't know how to share my slide and see you all at the same time because this is done on Keynote. So I'm going to give it a whirl over here. 5 ways, 5 key things to shift your consciousness and make that change. The first thing is awareness, right? And just what we were saying then. What narratives do you run? And this is really how it goes. Your thoughts generate your feelings. You have your pituitary gland. It is like the master cocktail maker. So whatever you are thinking, the pituitary gland goes, endocrine system, this is how we want to feel. So I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling really like full of despair that, oh my gosh, am I ever going to make this? So the cocktail master sends out the recipe, and next thing our body starts feeling that as well, right? So it's so obedient. It says, okay, she wants to feel this. Let's create, scared. All right, adrenals, you pump on. Let's get in fight flight mode. So whatever is going on in the body, then you start going, well, I feel it. So there's a connection that starts being built, and we start believing it. And this is where some people say, tell yourself or write something out 100 times and you will change your stories. Well, if only it was so simple, but there is also in truth in it. If you truly, truly, truly believe with every cell in your body, not just a token statement, you can deep dive and rebuild neurology pretty quickly. So patterns of behavior and narratives that you've been running for years on end can transform. You can have that, what almost feels like a quantum shift and a quantum leap, but it takes for us to get it on a fully integrative level, not just an intellectual level, right? Obviously, beliefs dictate our behaviors, and then we get the results that we get. So for those that don't know, yes, I'm business consultant. accountant by trade, and then had a period of about 10 years where I went and studied and learned and became kinesiologist. And so we use the traditional Chinese medicine in that space, which is where the 5 elements obviously originate from. So when I met Roger, I was like, who are you? How have I not heard about you before? So I was using this in my coaching business, met Roger and saw that, this is also the 5 elements. So I'm going to take you through, and also the same with the chakras. The chakras is, when I saw Roger talking about the wealth spectrum, it's essentially the chakras. So the emotional intelligence side that I learned on the 5 elements and the chakras, I just married up completely with what Roger was teaching. So I'm going to take you through the 5 elements, and we're going to do this collectively. Normally, I would just pull out one pattern, like identify the priority element for you to look at as to where you're getting stuck in this narrative. But we don't just have one, we have many. So I'm going to suggest that you do this for each of the elements that we work on. Let's do this together. This is self-inquiry at its best. This is not me doing it for you today. This is you doing it. So when we are stuck in the earth element, the earth element is all about learning. We know it in the wealth dynamics as tempo and timing. It's all about learning, going slow. Some of the emotions in there on the more negative side, feeling lost, feeling rejected, feeling lonely, feeling failure, or doubt, right? When we are feeling those things, often the common reactions linked to those are coming up with excuses. Maybe you know that. You're like, I'm still making all the justifications and excuses in my head, or getting defensive. That is a very common one. If we're feeling lost, or maybe like failure or not, or fear of rejected, we can defend first, because how can someone reject us if we reject them first? You can see the other reactions there. I want you to take a moment and go, which one of those have you run the most in the last 30 days out of this top box, negative emotions? Team, we can all write our own as well. So once you've got one, I want you to look at the reactions and go, what's your most common reaction linked to that? Now, you can go and inquire on this yourself, like when we finish the call. So write it down, take note of it. So I wrote failure. That's one that I've been feeling over the last month at different times. And my reaction is to criticize. I'm like, wow, I can see that. I can see where I've criticized myself. The very thing I just said to you all, don't do, be your own best friend. I get critical of other people as well, and it's not in my nature, and I never feel good when I do that. So I'm going to self-inquire on that more later, but for now I can see where the threads and the loops are kind of there, right? And it's like, it just is, and it's not serving me well. So if I was to flip that, what energy is going to serve me better? So in the earth element here, feeling safe, feeling validated, included, acknowledged, curious. For my truth right now, it actually, it's included. I want to feel included. So I need to include myself, right? And who do I also want to include in my world, in my business as well? So I'm going to write that down. So each of you choose what it is for you. And then choose the positive action that's going to serve you best to help imprint the new program. Mine is be kind. Be kind to myself, kind to others. Now, I'm so used to doing this all day, every day, that there's like 1,000 things unraveling already for me in that. That's the power of this as well. Like that could be enough, right? Just actually going, that itself, awareness can move mountains for me. If I really look at what if only always I felt included and was kind. If only always I was that, how would my world and my business look different? You know, what are the things that I would be attracting to me? What are the things I would be saying no to? You know, what are the things I would be trying to set up for myself to have those experiences? It's certainly not half the shitty stories that I would maybe tell myself what if I'm running a failure and criticize program, right? So again, what I know it's probably not new for many of you, and for others maybe it's a reminder. Self-inquiry is so powerful. We're going to grab the rest of the words and you're going to go and self-inquire yourselves. So let's have a look at the steel energy. It's just metal. This is the home of Nike. Just do it. You know, make it happen. I'm tired. Don't care. Just do it. It's a little bit of void of emotion. I don't want to go for that walk today. Don't care. Just do it. You know, and sometimes we need to be in that space. It's a little bit the energy that Michelle had, you know, tonight. She's like, guys, 100 people on your list. Where is it? Like, that's Michelle in metal energy. She is invoking and speaking and living that metal energy, not because she's a mechanic profile, but because that's actually the space that everyone needs to be in, right? Because what comes after metal is water. If metal is make it happen, water is let it happen. Water is where flow is. But to get to water, you have to go through metal. So, you know, the Olympic sprinter that when they're on the blocks, they're running for a gold medal. It's so integrated. It's so, it just happens. They're fine tuning it all. But that comes after years and hours on the track of, you know, pushing off from the starting block, start again, go again, just to get it right. So it comes after the practice, right? So let's have a look where you're getting stuck on this one. What's the negative emotion that you've been playing out the most in the last month? What's the reaction that you tend to trigger into? Mine just came up sulky. I wouldn't think I'm a sulky person, but when I look at it, I'm like, it's so, there has been those moments, right? Now, I do cheat a little. I do muscle test as well. But you can just read through them, tune into it. I don't cheat. That's just part of the kinesiology side. So then I want you to look at what's the positive emotion that's going to serve you better. This is the state of being that is going to work best for you. And always think about it, you know, go, this is in relation to me being a successful business owner, successful entrepreneur. You can run this for your relationships and all of that, but we're thinking here right now, you know, in you being a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so write down what that is and the positive action as well. This is, I've got the full version on all the charts. You can just see behind me a little bit. All right, let's have a look at water. Now, I haven't got the chat open Michelle. So do tell me if there's anything that I need to jump
Yeah,
in.
no,
Kat.
it's good. Everybody is, I think, participating. They're jumping in. Not everybody, but most people are putting in their thoughts, which is good.
Cool. So water is about let it happen. This is about flow. What's the negative emotion you're getting caught in here? Fear, inadequate, pressured, impatient, sensitive. And what's the, for speed, I'm going to move you through, like you can look at the reactions if you're quick enough to do that. I can give you this little slide pieces as well. Otherwise, even if we just go negative emotion, positive emotion, that is enough to really be inquiring as well. So what's the positive emotion? And again, we don't want to just intellectually get it. So fear and inadequate and pressured kind of feels, it sounds a bit like this, versus confident, composed, satisfied, calm, trusting. They have that kind of energy, right? And so positive water has that kind of energy. It's not sleepy, it's alert and active, but it's calm. And it's a force in itself. All right, let's jump onto wood. Wood is all about growth. This is where you reap the rewards. You start this is where the fruit is yielding from everything you've done in earth, metal, water previously. People who want to get the quick wins, the big wins quickly, often try and go from earth, the idea, around to wood and reaping the rewards, and want to skip doing metal, doing water, right? And that's where you see get rich quick schemes and quick fix kind of energies. So it doesn't work. There is a flow. Negative here, maybe feeling burnt out, resentful. It's a lot heavier. Metal is quite a heavy energy. This one can feel like a tiresome, heavy energy when it's running. And of course, there's different degrees that we'd be running it. Passiveness is an interesting one. Passive is like you're almost being too shy, but it's not just about being shy. That's kind of an innocent shy. Passive is not speaking up for yourself, because the flip side is assertive. Yeah, not aggressive, assertive. Yeah, come from heart. Hey, I'd really like to do this. Or that's very different to aggression. Yeah, often people think, and we hear it, passive aggressive. That's actually not the combination that's healthy. Passive is not healthy. Instead of being passive, I would choose, if you're not wanting to come across too full on, then bring humbleness with the assertiveness. With humbleness means that you're not in the ego. Passiveness is it's the polar opposite of when we go, oh, look at those people, they're so in their ego. Well, the polar opposite of that is someone who's not, someone who is so passive in their approach. So neither actually are ideal. Have a look what it is for you. Authentic and honored. This is of self and to others. And then fire. Okay. Fire is mastery. It's the one element that is less about doing and more about being. It's where you are, it's self-realization. It is the manifestation of all of the things. So if you're in fire around your business, you're at mastery of it. Now, the thing with the elements is they go around again. So they don't stop. You don't stay in mastery and go, I am now enlightened until you are, right? But you keep going around, keep cycling up. But here, you know, often when it comes to businesses, it can be, I don't feel worthy, or someone said something and I'm carrying hurt, or a client, you know, it didn't work out and I didn't get that dream, or whatever the story is that we all have. They're very real, your stories, but are they the ultimate truth? Maybe they were in a time, but they don't need to be now, because you can let go of the past. 15 seconds ago, you can let go of it. You know, 50 years ago, you can let go of it. So just feel how are these ones playing out, and what's the positive that's going to work for you. This, again, super fast whistle stop tour of those, but I really want to encourage you to go and sit with those yourself now. Really sit with, out of all of those 5 word combinations you wrote, which is the number one? And then really truly sit with it and go, what are the stories I keep telling myself that where you see that pattern playing out? Write them out. You know, it's a great way to release it. And then look at which of the 5 positive combinations is going to be best for you. It might be the same one in the same element. It might be a different element. So it could be that, you know, it's to focus on the fire one. And then I want you to really feel into that, right? Don't just intellectually get it, really get it in your heart, in your body, and then start writing, well, if my life was this always, what would that look like? And I want you to link it to your business. Everything Michelle's been teaching you here, to the outcome that you want with clients and the whole journey, and let us know how it goes. Michelle, over to you.
You know, I love that. And I always say you have to develop a certification. I've said that for years. Oh, my word. Anyway, that's an ongoing conversation. Thank you, Donna, for sharing that with us. It's always super, super helpful. So, guys, I know we ran a little bit over, but what I'd like you to do is drop in the chat. Definitely, you've got some work to do after Donna shared this, but drop in the chat what your biggest takeaway was for today. And we want to thank you for participating and being here, because collaboration, business, working together, learning from each other, doing different things is how you grow and make changes. And Donna, I want to say a huge, massive thank you, because I know it's late at night, but it's always nice to have us together on a call. So I don't often get to have that, and it's really cool. So thank you very, very much for that. Pleasure. So yeah, but good feedback. So guys, have a great week. Be amazing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next week. Oh. Bye, everybody.
Bye.